Yeah, I was living in the bush, but I wanted to get out of there a little bit for a little bit of time. It got a little bit heavy for me at a certain place I had, this flat I had. So I went to see this girl I know who's got a nice house and I've got a few kids, and I thought perhaps maybe she might know something, yeah. So they're talking, and this black guy come in, who I've seen a few times. So he said, all right, he's talking, and she said, look, can he not have your place? And he said, yeah, yeah, of course. He took me to his place in Isworth, and beautiful flat, but it had a great big waterbed, but I'm not bothered. I mean, the flat was nice, yeah, but I couldn't sleep on the waterbed. It was like weird. Honestly, it's the worst sleep ever. But a nice geezer, a really, really nice fella. So anyway, give me the flat, and laying there, about 2 o'clock in the morning, the music's driving me mad. Someone's gone mad with the music, and I can't handle it, mate, And it's the flat opposite me, yeah. So I'm knocking on the door, but no one's coming to the door. So anyway, I go back in the flat. In the morning, my mate Jamie Bennett comes round. He got to his story, but he told me to tell it anyway, but he would tell it better than me. So I'm telling him about the geezer opposite. He's driving me mad, playing music all night, And it's too much, James. I can't handle it. You know what I mean? I knocked on his door and he's just left it. Even he's a fucking bully, mate. He bullies everyone, man. He thinks he's the business, yeah. Well, so I'm not having it, James. I don't want this, you know what I mean? So I knocked on his door and he came to the door. And I said, do me a favour, mate. I've been trying to get on your door last night. I said, you drive me mad, music all the time. I can't handle it, can't sleep. He went, listen, I live here. I do what I want. I went, oh, sweet. He said, so what are you going to do about it anyway? So he come out towards me, yeah? Straight away. To me, that's a threat. I crashed, man. I've hit him so hard. My mate Jamie Bennett, if he does a podcast with me, we'll do a podcast one day. He'll tell you, this geezer flew. He said, Ray, that's the first geezer I've ever seen fly. I hit him so hard, he took off, yeah? And he sat down and like, he was completely out of it. And Jamie looked at him and he said, you better call the ambulance, this geezer. Because he's like, he was still like that a minute later, It was, I don't know what was going on. So he called an ambulance and I said, look, we come out of the house and this geezer's just sitting on the floor. He looked at me funny, but anyway, I looked at him, I took him away. And Jamie reckons that what happens, he got bad concussion, and I broke his jaw as well, So anyway, that was that story. But the best story was the guy that gave me the flat, the black guy. He come round the flat a couple of times. He'd been round there to see me, and he's sweet. But I was on the pipe anyway, and he was also on the pipe, but he was selling bits, yeah. So he come in one night, late one night. He said, look, I'm going to stay the night. Is that all right? I said, yeah, sweet. He said, look, I'll sleep in the front room on the settee. I said, lovely. He said, so you have a pipe? I said, yeah. So I'm in the bedroom now. So we moved into the front room and I'm having a pipe with him. And all of a sudden he changed. His face went weird, mate, And he said to me, you've got rats on your shoulder. He said, you've got rats on your shoulder, don't move, right? He said, look, let me go and get a knife and I'll kill him. Fuck you, you know what I mean? I couldn't believe it, what he said there. And when he walked into the kitchen, I followed him in the kitchen, mate, And when he went to the drawer, I was lucky, because if I hadn't gone in the kitchen with him, he'd have come out and maybe killed me, you know what I mean? So I walked in the kitchen with him, and he went to the drawer. As soon as he went to the drawer, mate, I hit him on the back of the nut about 3 or 4 times. His head was like hitting a coconut, I swear. His head was hard as anything, but I couldn't help it. I kept just get hitting it, hitting it, And he dropped on one on the floor, and dropped this knife on the floor. It was a bread knife, a lot of funny edge. And I thought he'd have come out and he'd have stabbed me with that, You know what I mean? Look, wanting to kill these rats. And I went, fuck that, mate. I'm not having it. You know what I mean? I'm not having it. I was gone. You know, just what a few clothes I had there in a bag. And I went back to my one in Shepherd's Bush. 3 days later, I see her down Hammersmith High Street, yeah. And I walked over to her, and she's really going mental on about me. It's calling me all the F and this and that, yeah, me, and it gonna, you know, you're lucky I didn't call the police on you for what you done. He helped you out giving you a place, yeah. So I didn't want to say nothing to her about what happened, you know, because I didn't want, you know, but I had to in a way because you never know if she's on it and he gets her on it, and that's the reason. So I told her, and she said, I know. She said, he's not with me no more, mate. I told him to go. So he's in his place in Isworth. He said, I didn't want him in my place, you know. And her brother is heavy. Her brother is really heavy, yeah. He's a black cab driver, but he's 7th Dan in black belt, karate and all this, that and the other. He's really dangerous, you know what I mean? He's proper dangerous. And she told him, you know, and that was it. He just got hold of him, put him in a cab, took him to the house, and she said, look, me and you can't be friends no more. I said, why? What have I done wrong? You know what I mean? Did you want to come? She said, no, we can't be friends because of what he did, you know. You didn't have to do that. I said, I did. He'd have fucking killed me. She said, anyway, me and you are not friends anymore. So I thought, oh, fair enough. But Jamie Bennett, I'll get my mate Jamie Bennett one day to come over and do a podcast, and he'd tell you about the story about the gigs where he said he took off. But he made me all nice.